The German artist Hans Hofmann once said that the ability to simplify means removing what is unnecessary so that what is necessary can speak to us. I don't know about you, but the ability to simplify is an ability I struggle to find in my life. Whether that's just the constant lure of feeling like I need to amass more things and stuff that our culture and marketers keep feeding to us. Or maybe it's my ability to constantly keep myself busy, even when people I care about, like my partner Christy, or friends or grandkids are asking for my presence, because there's always more work that could be done and needs to be done. And then there's the real honest truth that I'm actually afraid to discover what I might find if I cut some of the clutter out of my life. There's sort of a willful blindness in making my life more complex than it needs to be. There's a powerful story in chapter 9 of John's Gospel where Jesus heals a blind man. And instead of celebrating the healing, the crowds, including some of Jesus' own disciples, find themselves caught up in this unnecessarily complex argument about who sinned to cause the man to be born blind, and how can there be a power greater than that sin, and questions about curing on the Sabbath. And the person who was cured keeps being pressed about all this. And finally, in verse 25, the man who was cured says simply, "Look, all I know is that I was blind, and now I see." And in that simple recognition, it was the man who was cured who was able to see the gift around him and within him, while all of the others were missing it. And there's a holy invitation in that for you and for me to pause and pray about as we continue to make these Lenten journeys. To make sure we're trying to set aside a bit our overly cluttered and complex lives, recognizing that they're often overly cluttered and complex by our own doing. To make sure we're doing things like simply spending time with those whom we care about so deeply. Maybe setting aside the phone or the tablet and going outside and taking in the first songs of spring that birds are beginning to see as they're looking for areas to nest in, or smelling the freshness of the beginning of spring, or even just looking around and delighting in the lengthening of days this time of year. And recognize, on one hand, our ability to make life much more complex and cluttered than it needs to be, but also to celebrate the gift that in the midst of overly complex and cluttered lives, all God continues to do is simply offer the gift of life again and again. And the wonder of it all is that it doesn't take rocket science to experience that gift. All we have to do is look around and listen, breathe deeply, to spend time with one another. And we come to discover this beautiful, sacred, and precious gift that's all around us and even within us. Lenten peace and blessings to you all.